Hey, everybody. Welcome to ABA Inside Track, the podcast that's like reading in your car, but safer. This is your November 2019 preview episode. Hey there, it's me, your host for this preview episode, Robert Perry Cruz. And with me, as always, my fabulous co-hosts.
Hey, Rob, it's Diana.
And it's me, Jackie. It's my birthday month.
Oh, hooray! Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
having a birthday.
I did it.
It's such a rare thing
I made
Keep them
it.
coming.
for those birthdays.
I made it one more year, everyone.
Well, for those of you new to the show, ABA Inside Track is a weekly podcast where we talk all about a given topic in the field of behavior analysis and its corresponding behavior analytic research. So this month we have 3 hot topics that we will be covering. Hot in the sense that it's fun to say hot before you talk about your topics,
And then
I
go,
suppose.
hot topics.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We're going to put all our topics in that crisping sleeves when we put them in the microwave. They
30
toast
seconds.
all the way through.
It's creamy.
His
Yes.
face scaldingly hot.
Yes, they're going to be hot, very hot topics. So this month, we will be talking about 3 different subjects because it's nice to have one of those months, I think, that has 4 weeks as opposed to, I feel like we've had 10 months in a row that have 5 weeks, which is a lot more episodes.
Yeah.
How that is possible with the calendar,
It's
I
not.
don't know, but it seems to be what's happening. So we'll be talking about attending, we'll be talking about cultural competence, and we'll be talking about ethical scenarios.
Ooh,
or scenarios,
fancy.
depending on where you are in the world. All right. The first one that'll be coming up will be cultural competence. So we've done a few episodes sort of on the general subject of cultural competence, one very specifically on it. This is going to be talking a little bit more about cultural competence in the area of assessment tools, which again, as behavior analysts, you all use plenty of assessment tools, right? So how to make sure you're using your most culturally competent assessment tools. And helping us with that episode, we'll have a very special guest. Dr. Elizabeth Fong will be there with us.
It was so fun.
Yes. Who we actually, both got to interview and then also got to meet at one of the conferences we were at in the previous month. So
Yeah.
it was serendipitous, you might say. So our 3 articles in the area of cultural competence in our assessments are the Culturally Informed Functional Assessment (CIFA) interview, a strategy for cross-cultural behavioral practice by Tanaka Matsumi, Seiden, Lamb, and that is in Cognitive and Behavioral Practice 1996. Cultural Perspectives, Missing Pieces in the Functional Assessment Process by Salend and Taylor, and that's an intervention in school and clinic from 2002. Ooh.
Exciting.
You can't wait to read it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to read it
Just
right
double
now.
check. Anytime it's not an article, it's like Java or PAP. It's like, did I really read that right? What was the one we did where it was like Hospitality Quarterly or something? And it was really,
It's on the second
really
page.
hard to find what the name of the journal was. Sorry, folks. Sometimes we read these and prepped for them and then forgotten some of the details of the titles. Apologies. And then finally, the role of culture in families' treatment decisions for children with autism spectrum disorders. And that is by, we've got, who is it? Mandell and Novak from Mental Retardation and Developmental Disabilities, 2005. And then, of course, Dr. Fong had some articles that we'd previously done, but we're going to be bringing some of her actual work up as well.
Right, so we talked about her 2013 and 2016 articles in our episode 71 on an intro to cultural competence, I guess you could say, which we discussed with Dr. Slandy Forte, which was an excellent episode. But then we had the opportunity to actually have Dr. Fong on, so it was super exciting. So we do reference those articles.
Right.
So if you haven't listened to episode 71, you might want to go back and listen to it first. And then in this one, we dive in specifically to cultural assessment.
Yeah.
Cool.
Our next topic will be attending. I can't remember if that's the order we're doing them, but that's the order I have
It's okay.
the articles in front of me. So we'll be talking about attending. So for that, we'll have, again, another 3 articles. Effects of teacher attention on attending behavior of 2 boys at adjacent desks, which sounds like an independent movie. And that is by Broden, Bruce, Mitchell, Carter, and Hall in the Journal of Applied Behavior Analysis, 1970.
Bringing it back.
So old. Then we'll be talking about use of a differential observing response to expand restricted stimulus control by Walpole, Roscoe, and Dubey from the Journal of Applied Behavior Analysis, 2013. And then finally, using self-monitoring to increase attending to task and academic accuracy in children with autism by Hollifield, Goodman, Hazelcorn, and Heflin from Focus on Autism and Other Developmental Disabilities, 2010.
And that topic was recommended to us by our listener Clay. Thank you, Clay, for the recommendation.
Clay.
We're super excited to talk about attending.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. You can see here in my hand a book. Now, we're not doing an entire another book club because that would be a lot to do in the span of a few months. We are actually going to be talking to one of the authors of this book. So it is a workbook of ethical case scenarios in applied behavior analysis by Sush and Najowski. And this book just came out, I believe just came out this year. I know we got it pretty early on. And read through it ourselves. But what's special about it is it's a number of awesome case scenarios. Like, have you ever tried to put together case scenarios for like a training you're going to do, and you spend more time trying to come up with an, kind of an imaginative, fun scenario that covers all the topics you want to cover than you actually do putting together, your PowerPoint and training activities? Well, fear not, because this is an entire book in which that is what the authors have done. It is like 70 plus case scenarios, all having to do with ethics. And so we'll be talking with Dr. Darren Sush, and he agreed to come on to talk about his book, Ethics, and he even said if we prepped a few of his ethical scenarios for us, he would tell us if we got the right answers, which is my favorite thing to do with ethical scenarios is know what's the right answer. Because the answer is usually, well, that's part of the right answer, but really, no, I want the right ansers from the author. It's a rare opportunity.
May or may not get that.
Right. And it's fun because it's an ethics CEU.
Oh, that's right.
Because we're going to be talking exclusively about ethics.
Yep.
It will be offered as an ethics CEU.
Yes. So we'll be talking about not the entire book, but we picked out, or Jackie actually picked 5 case scenarios that spoke to her, and we will be discussing those in detail.
They were the ones that I was like, what would I put?
Yep.
So I'm going to tell you them in case you want to look ahead and figure it out for yourself. It's scenario 1, scenario 52, scenario 77, scenario 37, and scenario 72 in no particular order.
Yes.
Right?
And each chapter of the book goes over one of the ethical codes, and then there's a chapter at the end with sort of mixed ethical codes. And there's no answer key in the back, which I found sad because I just kind of wanted to cheat at the end and look through. But oh well, we'll have a chance to at least get a couple of our ethical scenario answers questioned. Questions answered. Yes.
That one.
Well, our answers might be questioned by the author of the book.
True.
Like, how did you think of that was the answer? Did you read any other ethics books?
Have you heard of ethics?
Just the scenarios. So those are our topics for the month of November.
Right.
And I think that's all that happens in November. Just 3 topics. That's it.
And my birthday.
And your birthday. That's it. There's nothing else I think we can celebrate at all here in November.
That's silly.
What? There's more?
Yeah, if you're living in the United States, this is the month of giving and thanks because Thanksgiving happens in this month.
Oh.
And I thought it might be fun as we're, nearing the end of the year. I know it's crazy to think about. But we should always stop and take a moment to think about what we're thankful for in our field.
Okay.
Not in our lives.
No, who cares about those?
Right?
We only
Those
care
are
about
just
behavior
lives.
analysis on this show.
But what we're thankful for in behavior analysis. What do you guys think? Do you want me to tell you first?
Sure.
Oh, sure.
I've been thinking about it a lot, actually.
Okay.
I'm really thankful that our field has broadened so that there are so many areas that we can now apply our science to and conduct research in. So I'm excited that behavior analysis is opening up its doors and fences to a whole different venue of research and collaboration with others. I'm really excited about that and very thankful for it.
Great.
Cool.
How about you guys?
Well, I am thankful that we are in a field that is growing, but still of a size where you really have a great opportunity almost no matter where you are. I don't want to say in the world. That seems a bit unfair. But you know what? With technology, yes, kind of anywhere in the world where you can reach out and talk to other professionals in behavior analysis as well as other fields, but specifically in behavior analysis, and ask questions and ask for resources and be given some guidance as to where you can continue your search. I think it is something that's really very empowering as someone who really was always scared to do that. I think when I first started out, I worked in places that had so many brilliant minds, so sometimes it just sort of happened. But I was always nervous about asking for help. Like, oh, are people going to think I'm dumb because I'm asking? And I find as I learn more about behavior analysis and I've done the job more, I am much more likely to email someone who's done research in a given topic and say, where else should I be looking? And sometimes within hours get a response about, oh, that's a great question, and here are some places to look. And I think we're very lucky to have a field where we have so many people who are just so giving of time. And I mean, even for us, going to conferences, we have so many people who are giving of their time to talk to us about their thoughts in the field. We just had we were just at the Babbitt conference last month, and we had a number of folks on. You might have heard the episode by now, where we had a number of real leaders in the field talking about their thoughts about the conference and the state of conferences. It's very exciting. And then certainly the Thompson Center, we were there, and we had a lot of great people we could talk to who were just so gracious with their time and conversation. And I am very thankful for that.
Nice.
What a time to be alive. I think you covered kind of part of what I was going to say, Rob, because we did not coordinate this ahead of time.
We didn't know.
About what I'm thankful for. So I did.
It's from the heart. That's why we didn't coordinate
I did sort of think about it from a more personal space, but not in a bad way. But I just thankful that we have this opportunity to do this, and getting to go to these different conferences and talk to people sort of like in this way is really special and
it is
meaningful, and it's opened up new opportunities to talk to people I might never have had the chance to talk to before. So I'm just really thankful for that, and that our field is sort of ready to do that, and people are more than happy to talk and come up and say hi. And I just love that. It gives me a good feeling about our field and where we're moving forward. So that's what I'm thankful for.
Yes.
Cool. There you go.
Yeah. We do personally, I'd say thank you so much to anyone who ever came up to us at any event and said, oh, I like your show, or asked for a picture, or wanted to just spend a couple times, ask some questions, which was, I don't know. I don't think that's ever going to get old. Just anyone coming up and saying hello.
Yeah, it's super special.
Even if people I know coming up saying hello. I love that too.
So.
Hey.
All right.
Thankful for you.
Thankful. Thanks to you, the viewers at home. Mm-hmm. Well, let's move into errata. After that touchy-feely stuff, let's get into errata and talk about what other things kind of going on. Maybe some emails, maybe some other things to keep in mind for the new month.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So that would be me. I'm going to cover some of the emails that we have for this month. So let me just grab them. All right, so we had an email from listener Paula. Hi, Paula.
Hi, Paula.
Hey, Paula.
I don't know what that one's
referencing.
Song. Okay. She was listening to episode 10, which is like 90 episodes ago. But I love that. Like, we get C's from all across the episodes. Yeah. Sometimes people, I think, start at the beginning with episode 1, and they're like, I'm going to crank through all 100 of these, and I appreciate that.
Oh, man.
You can see how our tastes have changed in the last 3 years.
Probably you can see how things have changed a little bit. But episode 10 was on picture activity schedules.
One of my favorites.
It's a good topic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is. So she wanted to bring up the point that I said that picture activity schedules were first discussed in the literature by by the group of authors that we were referencing. And she says that isn't accurate because other authors had really been looking at visual or pictorial supports for activities prior to that article. So I wanted to bring that up, and then there were some other authors to reference that their work did go way back, so I certainly didn't mean to leave them out by any means. But Robinson Wilson, 1977, and then Wacker and Berg in 1983 are some earlier examples of pictorial supports. And then Knight, Sartini, and Spriggs in 2015 also have done some other work in visual schedules too. So I want to make sure I'm presenting a well-rounded picture of the picture activity schedule literature. And I thank Paula very much for writing in to bring that up.
Dana, did Paula mention in the email if the like the Wacker and Berg and Robinson Wilson used the same prompting hierarchy or anything about that? Or was it more just the use of visuals in teaching schedules?
I haven't read the Wacker and Berg
I
article,
haven't
but
either.
they
I
are
should know.
referenced
I
by
didn't-
the McDuff, which is one of the ones that we covered
Mhm.
then. So they're just, research is iterative. Like it
Oh,
builds
yeah, no.
upon
I was just
previous
curious
research,
if there
but
was
I don't know.
I was just curious if there was the reference to the specific prompt hierarchy. Because, mostly with picture activity schedules, I think the reason I go back to the McDuff article was more about the use of the graduated guidance. But I'm just curious if that had been a component in earlier research or if it was more the visuals and then it was
I'd
added.
have to go read them.
I just asked if it was in the email. I didn't get a chance to read it before we started. Sorry.
So maybe what we'll do is we'll come back to you in December preview and let you know.
Or Paula, if you just want to read those articles, it sounds like you read them already, and just answer the question through the email, that would save us a little bit of time. So appreciative. Thank you. Like I was saying, so thankful for other professionals who we can reach out to and will tell us answers.
Yeah. And then
Not to be lazy. It's
we also had an email from listener Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hello.
And he initially wrote because he wanted to remember which episodes we talked about punishment in. And he said it was a book and it was punishment. And I said, I think you must be thinking of episodes 91 and 92, which is where we discuss coercion and its fallout as a book club idea, which is the book by Murray Sidman. And he said, yes, that was it. And then he asked, could you give an explanation of why positive reinforcement is preferred over punishment or coercion, which is sort of the crux of the book. And I appreciated that in that sometimes you just kind of want a little bit of a summary. So I thought I would just share with the larger group what I said to Brian as the summary for that. So I said, our BACB ethical guidelines require that we move from less restrictive to more restrictive behavioral strategies only as necessary. Aversives, which could include both negative reinforcement and punishment, are by nature more restrictive, not to mention that there are additional side effects of punishment, such as emotional responding, overall suppression of responding, and aversion of the punisher. And there's a lack of teaching of alternative appropriate responses, which makes punishment the less desirable option.
Cool.
So that's what I said to Brian. Thanks for writing in.
Excellent.
And I hope you enjoyed those episodes once you found them. And then I thought I'd end on a high note, which was just a short and sweet email from listener Libby. Hi, Libby.
Hey, Libby.
And she just said, you guys, I've never had so much fun doing my CEUs. Please don't stop your podcast ever. You are very funny, and I love it.
Oh, thanks, Libby.
Thanks, Libby. That totally made my day when you sent that.
We're sorry to inform you, Libby, but we're done. I'm just kidding.
That's
JK, we're not.
how rumors get
Oh, my
started.
goodness.
I know. We're not really. We're just kidding.
Yeah.
We made it this far, and I was just going to keep going forever and ever and ever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, Rob briefly mentioned that we went to 2 conferences last month.
We did.
Well, the Thompson Center was actually in September.
It's pretty close to the end of the
But that
month.
was a super, super fun time. So we want to thank the Thompson Center for having us out. And then you may have noticed the banner. Look at Banner, Rob, in the background here. This is from our trip to Babbitt. Babbitt celebrated their 40th anniversary. So that's what it says up there. It says, we were wishing them a happy 40th.
We got them a cake
anniversary.
and everything.
Yeah.
Super
So
special.
many presents.
We got them this banner, which now is going to hang here for eternity. No, we just put it up for you guys so you could sort of see how cool it is, really.
That's right. We made
It's
a
a
cool
nice banner.
Yeah.
It's got
Pretty
trees on the
sweet.
bottom.
Yeah, it's the Babbitt symbol.
But thanks to Babbitt and the Thompson Center, they're both awesome conferences if anyone wants to start planning their road trips for next year.
Right.
You can spend the whole fall just going to conferences.
You really can.
There are a lot of them.
Foliage.
All the fall, all the spring, but there's like very few in the summer.
Well, it's good because you want to take the summer off from all that conference traveling you've been doing to do some
to
travel,
save up.
right?
Yeah.
Or save your money for the 3 months because you've been doing travel the whole year.
Right.
Well,
Great.
I guess that brings us to the end of our November preview episode. So look forward. We've got 3 new episodes coming out, as well as if you still haven't caught up on October because it was a long month, we should have audio from the Babbitt Conference, some audio from the Thompson Center Conference, as well as the talk we did at the Thompson Center Conference has just come out. So feel free to listen to those, as well as our previous Culturally Competent episodes to prepare for this upcoming episode with Dr. Fong. And always be reading your little ethics book. Remember, go to our YouTube page for instructions on making your mini ethics guidebook so that you are prepared for the case scenarios.
In other words, you guys have a lot to do.
Yeah, you're very busy. We probably
on
recorded
it.
all those episodes by the time you're seeing this already. So
everyone can do this.
That's right.
Get reading.
We're eating turkey. You guys can watch this, have a good time. All right, well, that brings us to the end of our preview. We will want to say thank you to all of you for watching and listening. If you like the show, please feel free to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us on social media everywhere as ABA Inside Track, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Yep, that's another one.
Yep,
We're also post these all on YouTube where we have the subtitling features enabled, and you can go to our website abainsidetrack.com to find these, as well as to purchase CEs. And of course, feel free to email us at any time at abainsidetrack@gmail.com. We'll be back next week with a full-length episode, but until then, keep responding. Bye.
See ya.